Hello, everyone. Welcome to IT Tech Talk. I'm your host, Joel Ward, and with me is Charlene. Thanks you for joining me, Charlene.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, for my viewers, don't really know you. You are a influencer slash plus size model. Would you care to dive in deeper about what made you get into the modeling career?
So, what made me get into the modeling is because I wanted to continue influencing plus size, representing plus size women, and continuing using body positivity and also mental health as an important thing for body positivity and curve models. Very important thing to influence mental health and body positivity as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you talk about body positivity, and I think it's so important, especially in today's society, because we have a lot of people who are just downing everybody. And I know for a fact, as me, I date a lot of plus size women, and it's actually more freeing. I feel like, and they feel more positive when you uplift them. So, what
Yeah.
what do you do as a plus size model that influences these decisions and these people?
So I work with several brands, and I am very fortunate to be working with the brand Savage, Sheen Curves, Rose Gal, very popular, well-known brands in the industry. And I usually use my Instagram platform, and I also
Mhm,
use YouTube and TikTok to promote myself and these brands as well. And it's very inspiring to be in their clothing because clothing represents everything. It does really give women
mhm.
confidence that they need, especially for plus size women as well.
Yeah, so being an influencer, is this your full-time job? Is this all you do?
It has become a full time job, and it's been a very exciting job. Um, since I lost my job in 2019 because of a really stupid error. But mistakes happen. People lose jobs for multiple reasons, and I just thought that it was my faith. God put into this decision for me to become a model, and I've always wanted to be a model since I was a little girl. I always wanted to model,
Oh, okay.
um, but I just never had the money, the time. I was always in school. I finished up my bachelor's degree, um, so it's just a matter of money and time. But I guess one thing led to another when I lost my job. And that's when, I'm like, it's time for me to contribute more to myself. You're only young for so long, and you want to have fun as well. You want to make sure that you're living your life to the fullest. So I just wanted to give myself and represent myself as an influencer and a plus size model by being contracted with a modeling agency here in Boston. It was actually my second time trying because the first time I tried, I was denied. They said that my look
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
what they wanted. So it took me a lot of confidence, a lot of building myself up, and to finally become a model. So I actually, it was a year ago before I got denied. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back in and try it again. So it just fell into place. I felt it was the right time. I just lost a job. I'm like, let's get into modeling again, work myself, working on my brand. So it just everything just fell into place, and um, I felt like my platform blew up as when I was working on myself, being consistent, making sure I was connected with my followers, and just making sure to spread positivity, love, especially during a time where the pandemic, a lot of people were on social media. So that kind of
Mhm,
also sparked my platform to rise as well. So I took that as an opportunity. A lot of people are on social media because they want to feel so connected in a pandemic where they feel so alone.
mhm.
So I use social media platform to reconnect with people so that I was able to um, build my following. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you've listened to my episode about content creation. I think I
Mhm,
actually have 2 up now. But content creation, especially during the pandemic, is just so phenomenal because I started this podcast, and now I have, like, I just got listeners in Australia. I got listeners in the United Kingdom. I'm looking at right now, it's like I got listeners all over, and it's like it's so
mhm,
cool because I'm having that reach. But, like, talking about how you're reaching people during the pandemic, it's like it was so like unheard of that we ever would think that we have so much at our disposal to create content, and you create some really great content. Like I have viewed your page like tons of times, just like looking at your photos because, like, as far as I'm concerned, you are the most like beautiful like plus size model
Aw,
I have
thank
ever
you.
seen. And so
Yes.
like seeing your content, and like I tell my wife, I'm like, all the time, it's like, so she's beautiful and stuff, but it's like, a lot of her, like, when she was in school, and she used to be really skinny, and then she got really big, and then she started feeling horrible because
Yeah,
people would make fun of her for her weight.
yeah,
And it was really bad because, like, there wasn't that much, like, Instagram and stuff wasn't that popular then, so
mhm,
we didn't have that much reach, and now we have people like you who are pushing body positivity, who are using it as a platform, who are making it their full-time job to, like, uplift people, and I think that's great
yeah,
because, there's so much hate in the world. There's so much hate, and
mhm.
for someone like you who literally has the best platform as far as I'm
Aw,
concerned,
thank
to
you.
to
Yeah,
do that. I mean, I've only just started recently viewing your posts more, and as more I got into, I was like, I need to get her on the podcast. I mean, I know I'm a tech podcast, and I tell my viewers this, that I'm like,
mhm,
you tune in to hear tech, but I'm trying to get more into entrepreneurship and listening to people's business ideas. But to see your story and to hear, like, we talked for a little bit before this podcast, and
mhm.
just hearing you talk, it's just I use the word genuine, and I really do think you are really genuine. Like, I have reached out to several people in your industry, and I didn't get as genuine of a feel as I did with you, and I really like that. The fact that you
Thanks, yeah,
connect with your viewers, and that's great because connecting with people, especially, you don't want to be the influencer that just sits by and lets all her viewers look at her, but then
yeah,
doesn't respond back. So I'm glad that you connect with people.
yeah,
Um,
connection.
so yeah, and connection's great. And connection is, I talk about, and I don't, some of my podcasts I don't always do this, but community. I'm
Mhm.
very big on community,
Yeah,
and community is something that builds. And you have, I would say you have 100. I think last I looked, 181,000 followers.
yeah,
Um, so you have a big community,
yeah,
and to show that community that you care about things such as body positivity and being a brand for women of plus sized needs, like,
mhm,
that's awesome. Because I feel like so many, and I'm not dogging people right now,
mhm.
don't let anybody hear this, don't say I'm dogging, but there's so many people who use it as a stepping stone to make their careers and make money, and I
Yeah,
don't see, from my view, I don't see you doing that. I see you using this as a platform to uplift other women and
mhm.
show them that they aren't alone in the world.
Definitely.
I know my wife likes to shop at Torrid. I don't know if you know what Torrid is.
Yeah, yep, mhm,
Yeah, and she loves that store, and it's just, I really like. I've always viewed plus size women as something that's much better than someone of a skinnier form, because
mhm.
plus size women have more love to give, and I honestly have
Yeah,
said
they
this
do.
a ton
They
of
have
times.
a
And
big
all my
heart.
friends,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, and all
Yeah,
my
they do.
friends are like, you're crazy," but I'm like, you don't understand. Like, plus size women have such a big heart because they are so caring, and I've noticed that plus size models actually, not all of them. I think I told you
Mhm.
this in our phone conversation. Not all of them. Like, you were the one. Like, I see your smile every time I see your smile. I'm scrolling through Instagram. I'm like, oh my goodness, look, there she is again. Like, and
Yeah,
it's like your
aw,
smile is just so catching. So I really think that you have done great in your industry.
thank you.
So a question is, what made you get into doing the brands? How did you get into that? Like, how did you get these companies to let you promote them?
Okay, so it's funny because most of these brands did actually reached out to me, and, like, it's you attract what you want, and, I believe a law of attraction. You definitely have to, reel in your energy and make yourself seem more presentable, and I feel like I attracted a lot of these brands to work with them. It's and I tell people it's not about looks, it's not about what size you are. It's all about your personality and what you have to offer to your audience. And I use hashtags as well. Very important to
Hmm.
use. Very important hashtags, not overuse hashtags. And it's very important to also tag. the hashtags, tag brands that, you want the brands to see you, and also
Mhm.
using hashtags that brand wants you to use as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I tag a lot of brands. I am not sponsored by
Mhm.
brands. I have brands that I have had in the past that have reached out to me, but it's some of them actually go against my belief system, so I really can't sponsor them.
Yeah.
But there's just so much like, like ways that you can reach out, like tagging brands. Like I
Mhm.
remember, I don't remember how old you said you were, but I'm 30, and
Yeah.
I remember when Facebook was starting out, Instagram was starting out,
Mhm.
and you didn't have such a platform as we have now. Like
Mhm.
content creation and social media is so big right now, and you can reach so many people. You
Yeah,
can
definitely need to reach out to people more. Yeah.
yeah,
That's some things
and
I did if I wanted to work with brands, I would reach out to them and be like, "Hey, is there any opportunity for being ambassador or to work with you?" Um,
nice.
yeah, sorry if I cut you off too, yeah.
No, 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 no,
Mhm.
no, you're
Yeah.
fine. I love the so you said the word
Mhm.
ambassador. So is
Yeah.
that technically what you're considered as a brand ambassador, not a brand promoter?
Well, some of these jobs are paid and some of these jobs are, it all depends because you could be an ambassador and get free clothing, or you could get paid as well, or you could also, um, get just paid for, promoting these clothings. Um,
Mhm.
Influencers can make 0 to, up to, it all depends on your platform as well, up to 300 to, um, $1,000,
Okay.
depending on how much you wanna promote with the posts, it all depends, yeah. Um,
So, whenever you do they send you clothing and then you promote it, or how does that work? I'm not trying to get
yeah,
nosy into it, but
yeah,
how does it work? They send you something and then you promote it?
yeah, so recently, I've been working a lot with Yoins Plus, a really amazing brand, I absolutely love them. They, reached out to me, excuse me, and,
You're
they
fine.
want me to they want me to, they want 6 posts, and they also want a YouTube video, so, I'll be working with them in exchange for clothing, and then again, some brands would actually pay if, you're willing to, negotiate. So it's
Mhm,
always good thing to add your emails to your page for these brands to get a hold of you. Because if you do have a lot of following or, a lot of requests, messages, people are trying to reach out to you, it's very hard for these brands to get a hold of you, so it's very good to
mhm.
have an email for brands to reach out to you, and that's how mostly I get reached out, from brands is
Nice.
email. Yeah,
That's awesome.
thank
So as far as that goes, so you get reached out to, that you connect with them. So when you promote their items, now I think I asked this already, and maybe this is one more in depth answer.
mhm,
You promote these brands. So you said this is your full time job at this point.
yeah,
So
mhm.
do you bring in enough money that you can support yourself at this point?
Um, I to be honest, yes. It's become to that point, yeah, and I think this is what motivates me to continue working, but also, it's not about more of the money. It's the money is great when you're promoting yourself, working on brands, and they do tend to pay higher because
Mhm.
it's very unstable, very, you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
one type job. And this goes for if I was working with, because I'm a contract and model, work through a modeling agency.
Mhm.
Some of these modeling jobs could be 500 to $1,000 just for that
Oh
day.
wow.
Yeah, so, and it all depends how much they need you for that job. For commercial shoots or, photo
Mhm.
shoots, it all depends. But yeah, usually the pay is higher because it's just a job, a project to do. Um, yeah.
So now, do you work for places like Torrid and stuff as modeling some of their clothing lines and stuff, or do you just work for the brands that you are associated with?
I work with the brand I associate myself with. Sometimes I would want to, work with photographers so that I could, make more professional photos.
Mhm.
And yeah, so,
That's
for
awesome. Yeah,
example,
yeah.
yeah, for example, Savage sent me out. Every month I get a package from Savage since I am their ambassador, Savage X
Mhm.
Mini, and, and very excited. And then you choose what type of content you want to promote for yourself
Mhm.
and your platform. Yeah.
So now how much do you post on all these? Because you said you're on YouTube
Mhm.
and you're on
Yeah.
Instagram and you're on TikTok, you said?
Yeah, TikTok.
Now, do you this I think I'm trying how do I ask this? Who
It's
do
okay.
you put out your content or do you have an editing team? That's what I'm trying to ask. Do you have a photography
Um,
team? Because I actually know another model and she has a
mhm.
whole photography team that works with her that literally works like she pays them and they work for her. But do you have like someone
Yeah.
who edits her posts and stuff or
Mhm.
how does that work?
So, that's a thing. It all depends on the job. Sometimes it does take it takes money to make money. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it all depends, with the job. If I have like, for example, like, if I was working with Savage I'm working with Savage and wanted to promote their I would, contract a photographer to help me with the photo shoot, have them come over, and it all depends too. So, if you want to do photos on your own or if you want to hire somebody, it all depends. I do have a team of people working with me when it comes to myself, my marketing. I have a manager also on the social media platform, who also helps me get brands, working with brands and promoting myself as well. Mhm.
Nice. That's kind of what my company, Benjamin Curtis Kelly LLC, does. We didn't used to be as pushy about it, but we have started to do more web development, more marketing, and now we are starting a videography side of the company. So we are handling like editing of
Yeah.
videos and stuff, and it's taking a while. And we only have small clients. Like we work with certain brands and certain people in the area just to market their companies and stuff. But
Yeah. And
it's kind of like what we do, and
it
having sorry.
oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah,
having a marketing person is great though, and I'm glad you have a team. So do you pay them for their services?
yes, I do, but I also write that on my taxes, so I'm
Okay.
able to, yeah, get money back when you know, paying out my employees. But, yeah, so the thing is Fiverr is a really great place to find people that you want to build up your
Mhm.
team. That's how I got started on forming my team, Fiverr. Have you heard of that app or
No, I actually have not, and, it's kinda
Yeah,
funny
that's
because every time I get a guest on, I always hear about a new app or a product
yeah.
that I haven't used in business.
Yeah, Fiverr is really good, place to meet, tech people like you, that want, specific things, um,
Mhm.
photo editing, marketing, it's several things that you could do on there, yeah, so it's a really good place to go.
Nice. Now, your team, do you like? I just want to go more in depth in this question. So, do
Mhm,
you create your content? Because you probably have your own camera equipment. You probably shoot some of your own photos, and then do you send them to them, or do they, like you said, you bring out a photographer in one song, but do you do some of your most
mhm.
of your content, or do you mostly
Most
do
of
the
my
photography?
content yeah, I most of my content I do myself,
Okay.
photo editing, but if I want specific things, I'll come to, someone that I know that, on my team. Well, it's a very small team. I have a team of like 3 people, so
Okay.
yeah, so and then, you have your photographers come, when you need them. You always have to have that someone backup if you wanted to go to with photos outside. If you
Hmm.
like, for example, I had a photo shoot that, I was paid for sponsored for a beach photo shoot, so that's when you
Okay.
wanna pay someone, yeah, to go out with you and take photos, and especially some of these brands would want high quality photos, especially, when I was working with Savage, we had a project and they said, "You need to get, to, it's ideally to have high quality photos so that you can market yourself on the
Yeah.
social media platform." Yeah.
Well, I will say that, like, I couldn't tell if you shot these photos yourself because there's like some of the photos, like, it could be you, it could be a camera person, but they are really good photos. Like, I
Mhm.
think it all comes down to how, like, if you're really good with a camera and you know what you're doing and you know your angles and stuff, that's great because then you can shoot some great
Yeah.
photos. And honestly, when I see your content, I'm like now knowing that I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, so she might have shot
Yeah.
this photo herself,
Mhm.
and it's like really good photo. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
like
that's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, most of the photos since the pandemic, most of the photos I've done myself, but if I want to go out, so that I could take more photos outside, I'll go with the photographer. It's never good to go alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I want to ask you a little bit a personal question, if you don't mind. Does your
yeah.
family support your decisions in the modeling career?
You know what? It's I would say yes, sometime 100%. But when it comes to lingerie or swimsuit, this is where it gets very strict. So, but especially working for Savage Xfinity, their lingerie brand, I tell my family, you know what? I'm a grown woman. I'm 26 years old. I have to, I'm promoting a brand. It's body positivity movement. So we got to do what we got to do, right? So, but 100% they support me for who I am.
Mm.
But I know that
Uh,
I always feel like they're always going to see me as a little girl because, I'm their daughter. But,
yeah,
yeah, I told him, I'm a grown woman and I'm a grown woman now. And it's, it's a new time and new age. And a lot of plus, especially plus size
yeah.
women are being more marketing for lingerie and swimsuits as well. Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it's funny because Instagram knows me too well. Because as soon as I type in to look for a friend of mine, it literally shows every plus-sized modeling person I've looked at. I'm just like, well, and that's the thing. Like I said, I actually prefer plus-size women because like I said, there's something about them. They have much more heart to them,
Hmm.
and I've always been drawn to them. So it's like, seeing that they're more positive because I remember when I was in school, which was years more longer than you were, it was kind of hard because a lot of the girls who were bigger in my classes got made fun of because of they were
Yeah.
larger. And now it's
Mhm.
like someone like you is coming on the scene and it's like, hey, you don't have to be ashamed anymore. And I was actually just listening before yesterday. I was listening to this video of this woman talk about how she was shamed so much in school
Yeah.
and as growing up, and she was in the UK, and it was just interesting listening to her story how she was shamed so much when she was growing up because of her how big she was, and now she's like, I feel more confident because there's others
Mhm.
like me that are stepping out
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
showing, yeah, they're
Mhm.
showing that it's not, you don't have to be afraid anymore.
And it's taken me years, to be honest. It's taken me a very long time because we grew up with so many insecurities from high school to college, and
Hmm.
then to finally find yourself, and it, like you saying, it takes other people's motivation to find your own motivation. And when you see other women being confident and empowering, that's when
Hmm.
you're like, wow, like she's so inspirational, I want to be just like her. And that's when, a lot of people, men and women, start to gain more confidence through other people's confidence. And like I said, it's taken me years to actually, start, loving myself, and, taking the time to, to do body positivity in my social media.
Hmm.
And some people, it all starts out with, you're always going to hate little things about yourself, but it takes time to practice self-love. When I was in the 8th grade, I've always practiced self-love with looking in the mirror, doing affirmations, and it's always so good to. And then I'm like, I should do that more often. That's something, looking back at that,
Yeah.
I'm like, I was always doing that, and now doing that now as an adult, it's very important to pick up on those things, those self love things that you used to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, just curious, is there
Mhm.
anybody particular that motivated you the most when you were going through this? Is there someone on
Yeah. Mhm.
Instagram or somebody that
Yeah.
you can name that motivated you?
Yeah, actually, Alexis, Ashley Alexis, who is an Instagram model. She has about million plus followers.
Oh,
She
wow.
was a Sports Illustrated model. She was very curvy. She's very petite too, but
Mhm,
she inspired me because I saw a lot of myself in her,
mhm,
and that's what, when you find someone on Instagram who has a connection with you, that's when you start um, building more of yourself up as a brand as well.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Um,
Mhm.
So we're getting close to our wrap up time. So
Yeah.
for people listening who aren't followers yours who want to get interested in seeing it, what's your YouTube handle, your
Yeah.
Instagram handle, and your TikTok handle?
Yeah, so, YouTube, it's Charlene Areche, and my, Instagram is Miss Curvy Girl Love, and also with my TikTok as well, so, follow me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, stay connected. Yeah.
Awesome. So
Mhm.
real quick before we close out, now that we got your handles, what do you do on YouTube? So do you just do like content as far as like just showing off your brands, or what do you do on the
Yeah.
platform of YouTube?
So YouTube, I like to do body positivity, healing. I want to get more into the mental health aspect of body positivity. I have most of my YouTube content is fashion related because I did work with a lot of brands for December, the fall fashion
Hmm.
and winter
Yeah.
fashion to get a lot of the content for out of the way for Christmas. So I got a lot of fashion hauls videos, and I also have vlogs. I have a day in the life of a curve model. If anyone's interested in seeing more of that, I do talk about my pays, how much I get paid. I also talk about brands I work with and
Oh,
how I
cool.
promote my following and how I get ready and how I go out and take photo shoots as well. So it's a very fun day. Most of my days I like to end at 12 o'clock so that I can have the rest of my day for myself. But
Nice.
it's a very busy day.
Now you said you have a marketing person that like does your social media. Do you I
Mhm.
should ask this earlier, but do
Yeah.
you also post some of your posts too, like Instagram stuff? Do you post that too, or do you make them strictly posted?
Oh, I post, but sometimes if you do trust this person with
Hmm.
they would have account of your logins and passwords and luckily Instagram has where you could put ads to promote yourself,
Okay.
so a lot of people would promote themselves already with the using the Instagram app, and you could find ways to
Hmm.
promote yourself, and you could put how much you want to pay to be promoted if you want to be seen from 1,000 to 2,000 audience. It all depends how much you
Oh,
want
cool.
to yeah, market yourself from. So they have that access to your Instagram so you can promote yourself through them. Yeah. Or sometimes you could also send a link of your pictures or videos that you want to market as well, and
Oh, cool.
yeah, to be more seen. And
That's
Instagram's
awesome.
really good with promoting what people are already interested in, so that's a really good
Hmm.
thing, especially with hashtags.
Yeah. So to get a
Yeah.
little more personal, so you said you lived in Boston. Have you always lived in
Mhm.
Boston? Is that where you're from?
I've born and raised in Massachusetts. My but my family are Spanish background, so they came here as immigrants and they became citizens. I was born
Oh,
here in
nice.
Lawrence. Yeah, so I was born and raised in Lawrence. My Spanish isn't so good, but I try.
Well, I was gonna say you had that kind of like you're like an American foreigner, but you I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, that's a horrible way of saying it, but you seem
Yeah.
like you've got like some kind of like ethnic background. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell what it was. So you're Hispanic, but
Yeah.
you look so like you don't look like Hispanic. So
Yeah. So
it's kind of like it's not easy to tell on you.
I'm very Americanized, I guess. Yeah, um, and some modeling agencies do like that authentic look, like you don't like you look like you're mixed. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's more faces you might see on magazines. I guess that's why I also got back into that. I guess that's why they wanted me to be in for their modeling agency as well. That's what I heard. Yeah. So
Yeah, so going
mhm.
back to that, let's talk about that for a few minutes before we have to wrap up.
Yeah.
So you got turned down
Mhm.
and you went back and you just basically said hat in hands, or were you just like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I have this. I want to do
Mhm.
this." And so what was
So
your conversation that they
yeah, so
got you
I
back
I
in?
got turned back. It was okay, so the timeline was, so it there was a year gaps before I went back, because that's when
Okay.
yeah, so 2018, I or 2000, yeah, 2018 or 2017. That's when I applied to 2017. Yeah, because I was graduating from college back then, and I wanted to go model again. And I went, and they said no, that my look is not what they wanted, and
Really?
yeah, so I turned down. So I kept always trying to go places, but during that time frame, um, I moved. I was living in New Hampshire. I moved to Massachusetts,
Okay.
and that's when I decided to work as a counselor. And during that time frame, that's when I lost my job. And then I was decided to go to a different modeling agency. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do modeling once again and try it. A year later or two, and I finally did it. And they said, yeah, that same modeling agency. They said, yep, you know what? We're gonna contract you, and it all depends with your photos, how you present yourself. It all depends. Yeah, because you need a portfolio if you want to submit to a modeling agency. You need
Mhm.
professional photos. Back the other time when I applied, I was taking photos on my camera, on my phone camera, so it was very
Oh, no.
unprofessional. So I'm like, you know what?
So you
I
went and
gotta
got
step up my
professional
game.
photos done for this?
Yeah, so I gotta step up my
Yeah, so
game
you
and
went
make sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I got professional photos done, and I actually it was during the time I went to it was a what's it called? It was a photo photography place in the mall. So back then I really
Oh,
didn't
no.
know too much. So I went into the mall and I asked them, and the guy loved it. He loved the whole setting my scenes up. He's like, "Girl, you got this. You're gonna get in." And then that's
That's
he
awesome.
really boosted my confidence, and so I'm like, all right. And then I took the portfolio over to the modeling agency, and they're like, yeah, you know what, I think you do actually have the look. And yeah, so I got into the agency, I signed the contract, and it's my second year in. I just renewed my contract again, so it's going to be another amazing year. Yep.
That's awesome, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, we're at our mark. Well, I'm glad we got to connect. I'm glad you got to come on the show because it's really exciting just hearing your story, hearing
Yeah,
about
thank you
how
so
you
much.
have you promoted this. I'm
Mhm.
hoping everybody who tunes in gets so much more positivity out of this.
Yeah.
Because right now, like, there's so much that, people need to be positive for. But
Mhm.
Charlene, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining me. I hope to have you on the show again, maybe in the future, to discuss like your career, how it's going.
Yeah.
So definitely, I would love to have you on again. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. All
You're
right.
welcome.